Right, I think we're probably good to get going now. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Anna Maria. For those of you who don't know me, I am the head of sales here at ProView Communications, and we're here today to talk to you about Yealink business headsets. On the agenda for today, we have an introduction to Yealink, why you should consider Yealink for your headset vendor. We will take a look at the Yealink headsets as a whole, so some of which will be given away as prizes today. There'll be a sneak peek at the latest cordless decked handsets. The Yealink's portfolio has expanded quite a lot over the years, so one thing we will be looking at is how to use the different products together with some examples and ways that you can position these products to sell to your customers. I'll also then go through some incentives and promotions, plus there will be some time for a Q&A session at the end. Pictured here on the right, we've got the headsets that we're giving away today. So there's going to be 2 decked headsets up for grabs. That's the one up your top left on there, and then one of each of the other 2. And I'll be going through in all of those in detail later on. Whilst there will be time for a Q&A session at the end, I'm also more than happy to take questions as we go along. So do feel free to send them in as and when. You should see a speech bubble on the right-hand side. So if you just type it in there and I'll answer as we go through. Anything that I'm not able to answer, I will have your details and I will be able to respond to you privately following the webinar. So let's begin now with an introduction to Yealink. Got a few stats and facts for you. So Yealink has gained position of #1 in the market share for SIP desktop phone unit shipments with a growth rate of 38.4%. Their mission is to help users make the most of their UC experience, embracing easy collaboration and high productivity. They've sold over 15 million IPN points all around the world in more than 500,000 companies around the world, with 1 in every 500 people on Earth owns or is using a Yealink product. They've got over 20 years of experience, having been founded in 2001. In 2005, they gained top share of the USB phone market. In 2015, they developed a strategic partnership with Microsoft, launched a successful IPO in 2017. By 2018, they've comfortably had the top share of the SIP phone market, and in 2019, developed cooperation with Tencent, Sony, and China Telecom. So why choose Yealink for headsets? They are predominantly a SIP phone manufacturer. Can they really make headsets to compare with other leaders out there in the market? And that is what we're going to look at today. Headsets for Yealink is currently their top strategic product line, with their personal collaboration device business having grown quite quickly already. So up until 2019, headsets were provided just as an accessory, and in fact, there was only one headset. It was a low-end wired RJ9 model. In 2020, they entered the headset industry properly with a strategic plan of products to build, and they started that year with the release of some wired USB headsets, and they updated the RJ9 headsets. In 2021, they released their wireless decked range, which has been really popular since the release and grown quickly, especially with ProView, with the Bluetooth headsets now having been released in 2022, so giving them that full headset range. Feedback from the market has been really positive so far. There's been a lot of success in the wireless deck series. So in 2021, Yealink had gained 7% of the market share on headsets, which is quite a lot in a short space of time. And by 2025, they aim to have taken at least 30% of the market share. So it's been great for our resellers as it allows you to expand your portfolio, provide a more complete solution around your desk phones. You know, up until now, you would have been looking at third-party headsets as your recommendation. And whilst they are available via distribution, you know, you can get them via ProView, other suppliers. You've also then got every man and his dog selling them on Amazon and eBay, making it quite difficult to win the sale, for you to win the sale with your customer. I know plenty of resellers who a long time ago ditched the idea of headsets as an accessory, as it was just easier to send their customers straight online because they're constantly having that battle. But now with this option via Yealink, you no longer need to send them away. The warranty is decent. It does come with a standard of 2 years. The margin is fairly decent in the headset range as well, and they've been built with modern ways of working, beared in mind, to support the growing use of soft phones. As I've already mentioned, the feedback on the market has been really positive. So I'm not going to read all of these out word for word, but just to pick a few bits out. So we've got positive feedback on the different wearing styles and the warranty. So 2 years, as I said, it isn't actually standard for all other headset brands. It does depend who you go for, but that's what we've got here. There's positive feedback on the useful different options within the range, and plus the fact that the DeX models are designed to work with most Yealink phones without any additional adapters, unlike others in the market. We've got positive feedback on the sound quality, and again, that's one I get quite regularly from customers, and feedback on the headset range as a whole. So I've just had a question pop up whether Yealink have any plans to have a formal agreement with 3CX to make the headsets fully supported. The answer to that at this moment in time is no. You're not the first person to ask that, and you're certainly not going to be the last. It is something that does get brought up from time to time, especially with their screen models. So what I would say is I will take that back to Yealink and see what the latest is with that, and hopefully come back to you with maybe an ETA, but it might also still be up in the air. So we'll see. So moving on, we really do have the complete solution with Yealink on the headset side. So this is just to summarize it all quickly here. The ranges, so we've got the USB wired headsets with low, mid-end and high-end options. You've got RJ9, low end and mid, and then wireless DeX headsets and Bluetooth headsets. So take a look into the full solution on the Yealink headsets, covering wired, DeX and Bluetooth. And first of all, we'll begin with the USB and wired headsets. So USB headsets are good for pretty much any scenario where a wired headset will do, whether that's in a call center, office, remote workers, from home or on the go. It's generally an easy plug and play type device. So there's 3 wired USB options, and starting with the first 2 here, we've got the entry level and the mid-range level headset, which is the UH34 and the UH36. So both of them come with a call control panel, but the UH36 comes with a 3.5mm jack as well as the USB, whereas the UH34 is USB only. There is also a difference in quality of the headpieces. Neither of them are poor, but you are looking at entry level and mid-range, so you will find you've got a more robust headpiece on the UH36 and better noise cancelling. Designed for all-day wear and comfort, they both, as standard, come with leatherette ear cushions. There is the option to get the UH34 entry-level model with a foam ear cushion instead, for ever so slightly less in cost, but this model isn't generally stocked that much in the UK. They are a good option, though, if you're needing a large amount where every penny counts. Certainly, for example, during the pandemic, when people were needing large amounts of USB headsets for temporary use and therefore needing it as cheap as possible, that's where that type of headset was really good. And that's the kind of projects that we see these being needed. But outside of that, everyone does tend to prefer and go for the leatherette option. Newest in the range is the UH38, which is the higher end wired headset. Now, immediately you'll notice quite a big difference within the headpiece. So it is an even more robust band in comparison to the other 2. If anyone's familiar with the Bluetooth headsets, then this uses quite a similar headpiece. So you've got a nice thick headband with fairly large earpieces and a pretty good level of noise cancelling. Now, this one comes with a call control panel as well, and it is wired USB connection at the end. But where this one really stands out is that you've got the option to get it with Bluetooth built into that panel. So the use case scenario for this would be if your main usage is wired into most likely soft phone on a computer. Could equally be a desk phone if it's got USB and supports headsets. But either way, if your day-to-day usage is wired, but you want to be able to connect your mobile phone to the same headpiece, typically you'd need to spend money on a wireless headset for this kind of connectivity, but this will allow you to get it on a wired. So it's pretty cool, really. I've given it a go myself. There's nothing like it in the market at this stage. We've also got busy lights on each earpieces that will light up in red or green if you are on the call or unavailable. I just had another question pop through. Will replacement ear cushions be available in the future for any of the Yealink headsets? That's a good question, actually. I know historically they used to do replacement foam pieces and ear cushions for their wired RJ9 old models. However, I've not seen any for these newer ones. Are you referring to any headset in particular or just in general? I mean, that is certainly something I will take away and ask to Yealink, just a general question. Okay, that's fine. In that case, the answer for now is a general question. It's not on their price list, but I'll ask the question and see what they've got for me. So here we've got a close-up of that control panel, which you can get with or without the Bluetooth built in. So as I mentioned before, this gives you the Bluetooth experience without going for a more expensive wireless option. If you've got no need for wireless, or you're working on the go, or you are working on the go but you're happy with wired, I know I personally quite often take a wired USB headset with me, then this is a great way just to get that extra connectivity at a lower price. Finally, within the wide range is the RJ9 headset. So really similar to what we've just seen, but it is just the entry level and mid-range. So there's a YHS 34 and a YHS 36. We've got same head and earpieces with just the RJ9 connection instead of USB. So pictured here, you've got the YHS 34, which is similar to the USB entry level model. And then here we've got the YHS 36. So that is your mid-range option. Again, same as what we've just seen, but with the RJ9 bottom cable. And these are designed to work with all of the Yealink phones, as they've all got the suitable RJ9 port. Moving on to the DECT headsets. So here we've got the entire DECT series. So the ones you'll already be familiar with, or may already be familiar with, is the WH62 and 63 models and the WH66 and 67 models, which is your standard DECT base and headpiece, plus the UC workstation version. What we have in addition to that now is the WH62 and 63 portable. So these are headpieces that actually sit on your single cell and multi-cell solutions rather than a standalone desktop solution. Now, I'll explain a bit more about that shortly, but for now, we're going to recap on the existing ones for those who aren't already familiar. So WH62 and 63 are currently the most popular DECT ones that we sell, as they are more of your standard base and headpiece desktop option. What you do have with these, though, that you don't get with other standard DECT headsets in the market, is that they are already by default supporting dual connectivity. So you can connect it to your desk phone and your computer simultaneously. Typically, with other manufacturers out there, you're looking at a standard one connectivity, and then you're talking about a fair price increase for that second bit of connectivity, whereas Yealink have added it in there as standard without an increase in costs. The range itself from the headpiece to the base is good, so you're looking at up to 160 meters indoors. Obviously, that will vary depending on your building, and 14 hours talk time. Plus, we've also then got busy lights to show when you are on or off a call. The WH66 offers much the same in terms of the range and the headpiece options. The main difference here is that firstly, this one offers triple connectivity via added Bluetooth. So you can connect to your mobile phone as well as your desk phone and your computer. The second main difference is the 4-inch touchscreen for soft phone use. So if you are completely without a desk phone, but still want that element of control from the headset rather than on your computer screen, then that is where this headset would come in handy. Just to show you those in a bit more detail, so here is a close-up of the WH62. So this is the dual connectivity standard DECT headset. So it connects to both your desk phone and your PC with seamless switching regardless of where the call is coming through. The Yealink headsets are specifically designed to connect to most of the Yealink desk phones without the need for an EHS adapter. So you don't need to be spending money on that extra part like you normally would with other headphones in the market. You then have the option to buy it as a Teams or a UC version. Either are always going to be compatible with Teams, but the difference with the Teams one is, first of all, it's got Teams branding on it and on the box. you do also then have a dedicated Teams button, whereby if you press it, it's going to open the Teams app on your computer and bring it to the forefront of your screen. So if you need to make a quick call, instead of hovering around with your mouse trying to find it, if it is in the background somewhere, then you can just press that button and up it will pop. Now, not everyone's too fussed about this feature. If you are using Teams, then obviously that would be a preference. But I am also quite aware that a lot of the ITSPs that we work with will have their own soft phone option. So therefore, you're not going to essentially want to be promoting another brand. So if that's the case for you, then you're best off probably going with the UC version, as it's not going to have that Teams button there. Two of the headsets that we are given away today is this decked one here. So that is the very model that we've just been speaking about, the WH62, which is the dual connectivity decked option with the fixed headband. So we will be doing a prize draw for everyone that has attended the full session. So keep an eye out and you should get notified by the end of the week. Here is the WH66 UC workstation in more detail. So this is the second one. So we've got the 4-inch screen there with the headpiece stand to the right of it, and that is how it comes out of the box as standard. What we do have pictured here, though, is a mobile phone station to the left. So it's not going to come with one of these by default. The Bluetooth connectivity is already there, but this here is the mobile phone stand and wireless charger. So if you are having your mobile phone connected to, then it is a pretty handy accessory to buy, as it does keep it all in one place. You've also then got a speakerphone built into the main device. I don't know if you can see that there, but that little panel underneath the screen. So if you did want to have a hands-free call without the headpiece, then you can do it via the base there. So you've essentially got an all-in-one product. This would be really good for home working use, where you maybe want to avoid a large bulky desk phone, but also have access to everything. You know, it's compact with the mobile phone stand, allows you to keep everything in one place with a limited amount of cables, rather than headset plugged in here, your mobile phone plugged in there, speakerphone lying around for when you don't use it. And if you're like me and you like the option of having both, then this would be perfect for you. In fact, this would have been a really good option for me when I was working from home. So I'll tell you a little story. So for me personally, I wasn't actually very keen on working from home in the beginning. So I loved it at first because I'm generally being pulled from every department. So it's nice to feel like I had enough peace and quiet to get my work done. But ultimately, though, for me, I didn't have a very physical setup. So I had a really tiny desk that was only enough for one computer screen when I'm used to two. Just about enough space to squeeze my desk phone on it. But then when I tried installing my decked headset, it just felt way too crowded. It was taking up the last little gap of table that I had. So eventually I just had to get rid of it. I also do take work calls on my mobile. So for me, it was necessary to have that around. And again, there was never really comfortable space for it. You know, it couldn't sit in my pocket because I'm sat on my chair all day. No space for it on my desk. So it just kind of floated around on the floor, the bed behind me, sort of here, there and everywhere. Hopefully I hear it. And then for my video calls, I would use the Yealink, the CP900 speakerphone. And that would then just sit in my drawer because, again, there's no space for it. So got to get it out every time I wanted to use it, which isn't so bad if you've got a planned video call, but if someone's just calling you to talk, then it is a bit of a rush to get it out. So in hindsight, something like this would have been absolutely perfect. So could have ditched the desk phone entirely and just used the soft phone app. So the one that we use here is the Counterpath Bria, but obviously whatever you're using. I'd then control all my Teams calls via the headset itself, as well as the computer. And I was doing a lot of Teams calls, so that could have been quite nice. And then I could have had my mobile phone there as well. So I bet that would have taken up very similar amount of space to the desk phone that I had, but actually it's given me everything in one space. We've got the headset, the speaker, the mobile phone. So yeah, there's a real life experience for you that hopefully explains it well. As mentioned already, you can connect up to 3 devices simultaneously via USB or Bluetooth. So that can include your desk phone, your computer, and a mobile phone. There again is a Teams and a UC version of these. Now, the screen itself is originally designed to integrate with Teams. And when you do use it with Teams, it does have the Teams interface on it. So it looks really good and it works quite nicely. You can integrate it with other third-party apps. We've tried some internally, obviously not all of them. And the ones that we have tried in-house, it does generally work. What you may find is that it's just got a slightly more basic interface as it's not fully integrated. But in terms of making and receiving calls and seeing what you're doing, we found it to be fairly successful. With both the WH62 and WH66, you have the option to get it with a convertible headpiece instead of a fixed headpiece. So those models then becoming the WH63 and WH67. So the fixed one, you can see up here, you've got a choice of single earpiece or dual. And then the convertible one comes in single ear only. And it's got different wearing styles that come straight out of the box. So what you can see pictured there. So you've got various over the ear, around the neck, and over the head choices. We have on all the headpieces noise cancelling. So there are 2 noise cancelling microphones on the outside, in addition to the microphone that's on the inside that you speak into. So what these do is pick out any external noise that isn't coming directly from your mouth as best as it can, and then it filters them out so that only the sound direct to the inside of the microphone is coming through, so that the listener on the other side is getting a really clear experience. We also have on here busy light. So you may have noticed that in the previous screen, and I did mention it before as well. Now, this isn't in this style on the convertible one, so do just bear that in mind. This little ring that we've got here is on the WH62 and 66 models, not the 63 or 67. So this little ring, this little circle is going to show in red or green, depending on if you are on a call or not. If you've got the single earpiece, it's just on one. If you've got the dual earpiece, then it's going to be on both. You do then also have the option of buying an external busy light, which can sit on your desk or at the top of your computer screen. So that's this one here on the right. We've actually got one set up for one of our engineers' desks here. Normally, if I do need to speak to him, I used to have to hop around, tap him on the shoulder, see what he's doing, but actually now I can see it from where I'm sat. I don't even need to get up. So these are really useful, especially for a call center. If you've got lots of people in the office that are on calls, maybe, that would really come in handy there. I've got here a couple of slides that show the Yealink Decked headsets in comparison with what is currently out there in the market feature-wise. So the first one looks at the WH62 and 63 models with their comparables. So as you can see, 2 out of the 3 comparables offer a convertible headpiece option, but only 1 out of the 3 has got 2 noise cancelling microphones. The other 2 have only got 1 as standard. So the noise cancelling isn't going to be as good. Again, just 1 out of the 3 has a busy light feature. The talk time on Yealinks is up there with the top, and then range-wise, it is at the top and best out of all. Connection-wise, Yealink offers 2 USB connections, so one into your desk phone with USB and one into your computer. And then the others are either one or the other, with an exception to one of them. Here we've got the WH66 and 67. Now, there isn't really anything in the market like that with a screen like this. So the closest thing we have and what we're really looking at is those that have got the triple connectivity. So similarly to what we had before, the talk time on Yealinks is there at the top with the range coming in at the best. So these 2 slides here, I find it really useful, especially if you're talking to customers who are maybe a little bit unfamiliar with Yealink or a bit unsure, or maybe they are familiar, but they do just want to go back to their eBay and their Amazon and find one of these other third-party headsets. So if you are having that conversation with a customer, then these are really quite nice battle cards. If you would like a copy, more than happy to send them to you. Right, the final piece in the Decked series is the newest range, and that is the portable headsets that sit on your Decked solution alongside the cordless handsets. So just to introduce it here, this is the complete Decked solution. So base station wise, on the left, we've got the W70, which is your single cell, and then the W80 and W90 for multi-cell. There is also now the added WDD60 dongle, which can work in 2 different ways, be that to connect a headset to the base stations that I've just mentioned, or connect a cordless handset to a computer via soft phone. So I will go through that in more detail on how it works in the slides coming up. As for the products that can sit on those base stations, you can see here we've got a wide range of cordless handsets. You can then connect these decked headsets via the new WDD60 dongle, which I'll explain. And then we've also got decked conference phones, the option to add desk phones via the existing DD10K dongle. So really pretty much any product you might need, you could run off a base solution. So WH62 and 63 portable, what we essentially have here is bundles consisting of the decked headpiece, be that the fixed one or the convertible one, so that choice is yours, and then it will come with the WDD60 dongle, the charging cradle, and a carry case. Now, these we're expecting to be available for demo in the next couple of months, so we're not too far away now. Just before I move on, I've had a question pop through with some issues on the W67 connecting to a Chromebook via Bluetooth. I can see you telling me that you've got an ongoing support ticket with Yealink. Do I know if Chromebooks will be supported for Bluetooth connections? I think that is going to be more of a feature question for Yealink, I'm afraid, so I don't have the answer for you right now, but I will take that down and find that out if that's okay with you. So carrying on with the WH62 and 63 portable with this WDD60 dongle. So the idea behind these is that they can sit on any of the single or multi-cell solutions. So it can speak to a W70B single cell base station on your smaller sites, W80B base station for your medium to large coverage, and your W90 base station, which is your larger and multi-site coverage. So you can connect these in addition to cordless handsets or any of the other decked products that we've already seen there. So this dongle, where this can come in handy, if you've already got headsets deployed on site, so like the 62 or 67, and then you've also got decked installed, then you can use the dongle to pair these headpieces to the internal single or multi-cell base station. So when you do need to walk away from your desk, you can actually potentially walk around the entire building because you're no longer relying on only speaking to the range that's coming out of that charging case, but you can actually speak to the same base stations that all of your cordless handsets within the building are speaking to. Another option is to use it on your base station as headpieces only, be that the single or multi-cell, and that for this kind of scenario, that is where you'd be looking at buying the portable bundle. So we'll take a look at the single cell scenario first. This would be solutions for your smaller sites. So that might be a small grocery shop, restaurant, clothing store, that sort of thing. So you typically have a W70B base station, most likely a handset somewhere, but then now you can also have the headsets as well as or instead of the cordless handsets. Great feature you got on here is that you can push to talk. So any user that has got the headset can easily communicate internally with other members of staff. You can obviously then answer calls from the headset, and for speed dialing and outgoing calls, you'll be looking at using a handset. To give you an example of how that might look, if we take one of the examples I mentioned earlier, so let's say it's a clothing store, you can have different members of staff on the shop floor with potentially just a headset, with the ability to push to talk to the rest of the team as and when needed. But ultimately, it is a small site, so they're probably also going to be able to speak to each other face to face. Now, the reason they can get away with just the headset and not necessarily a handset as well, again, being a smaller site, and there's less people, so push to talk to everybody can work. Unlike if you're on the floor with hundreds of people, your message is often therefore going to be going to the wrong people. You might then have the supervisor or manager with a headset so that he can manage the shop floor teams and call and speak to individuals, as well as push to talk to the entire team from his handset. The features on using it on the larger multi-cell solution is pretty much the same, very similar regarding the push to talk and the speed dial that you've got on handsets. What we have here, though, is the base stations for a larger site. So not only have you therefore got more coverage, but you can also have many more headsets speaking to the base stations. So to give you an example of what we might look at a supermarket, so much larger site requiring more coverage, which is why we're on the ATB base station here. So we'll potentially have, there'll be obviously a large number of base stations on site, but then you'll potentially have a number of staff members on the shop floor with headsets, so they can answer calls immediately, but also push to talk to the team, for example, if they need help. So maybe, I don't know, push to talk, clean up on aisle 3, and someone can come running along. Now, the cashier might have a desk phone as well as a headset. I think it's better, especially if it's somebody at the customer services desk. You know, they may need to be able to call individual people or departments. They're also probably going to need access to the manager at a moment's notice, you know, if they're doing returns and things. So there'll probably be a desk phone installed there, but they may also have a headset as well for them to wear when they step out, or that that will just keep and they'll be theirs for the days where they're working on the shop floor. Then the manager or supervisor, again, is probably going to have a cordless handset, which he'll keep around in his pocket, as he will often be on the go. But again, he needs the ability to speak to the individuals via speed dial, as well as push to talk potentially to the whole team. You might then have your warehouse workers on a headset, you know, if they're on their feet a lot, if they're busy lifting, moving things. If you did stick in a handset, then you'd probably stick in one of their ruggedized ones, obviously being at a warehouse. They're going to potentially drop it, so they need it to be shockproof and dustproof, etc. So this is the kind of thing you'll probably see set up already. I don't know about you, but me personally, being so familiar with all these types of products, any shop I go into, I keep such a close eye out and have a nose around and see what they're using. So I've seen what's being used in, what headset brands being used in Asda, Morrison's, Tesco, Sainsbury's, as well as what desk phones they've got. And so this is exactly that type of scenario. But what we've got here is you're able to provide everything by one vendor, rather than your handsets from one manufacturer, your headsets from another, and then if you run into a problem, each one is blaming the other, and it's really difficult, or it can be quite difficult sometimes, to support the full solution. In the last part of the headset series, before we move on to the final part of the webinar, so thanks for sticking with me, we have the Bluetooth headsets. So there are two models within the Bluetooth headset range. We've got the mid-level B872 and the high-end B876. Now, I say mid-level, but to be honest, the feedback I've gotten so far on the noise cancelling has been really positive, and from people's experience, generally better than others. So I'd say it may be potentially an understatement, but moving on anyway. We've got two options within the B872. So you can buy it either with the wireless charging stand, which is what you can see in that grey picture here, or you can buy it with a charging cable, which is kind of a more standard option that you'll get with other headsets. And that is what they call the light version, that one with the charging cable. The B876 is similar, although the earpiece is slightly bigger and you've got better noise cancelling. Now, this one only comes with the wireless charging stand, so there is no option, there is no light version at the moment to buy it just with a cable charger. Both the B872 and B876, you've got the option of buying in black or light grey. As for the design, Yealink have described it as fashionable, and to be fair, they are pretty nice looking, you know, with the large earpieces. It is quite a commercial looking headset. The option to have it in the light grey is really nice as well, so not everybody likes black, and full on white can be a little bit tacky. Over time, it gets a bit grubby, it gets dirty, but with this shade here, they've really got it just right. So that might be for you if you're wanting something a little bit more stylish. The wireless charger is multifunctional, so from a charging point of view, it charges the headset, of course, but you can also use it to charge any smartphone that supports wireless charging. So you've got a little hook there on the top to hang the headset whilst you're using the charger for another device. If you are using the headset to connect to your mobile phone as well as your soft phone, then for you, that would be quite handy. As we all know, the battery life on smartphones does deteriorate quite quickly over time, and you certainly are not going to have the same talk time that you do on your smartphone as you would do with any of these headsets. So the talk time on these is quite good. We're looking at between 28 to 35 hours. So what you can do is keep your mobile phone on charge as much as you need during the day on that little bit there. And your headset can just be hanging ready to answer any mobile calls as well as your laptop calls. And then when you leave for the day, your mobile phone battery isn't about to run out, and you can then pop your headset back onto the charger overnight, ready for the next day. If you do happen to forget to pop it on overnight for the next day, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, with a talk time like that, depending on how much you're using it, I reckon probably a few days, potentially even up to a week. But yeah, you've got the option there. Both the B872 and B876 have a retractable boom, so it is actually hidden, and this is quite nice, as often the benefit of a Bluetooth headset is that, you know, when you're away from the office, you can take it away with you and use it to listen to music on your phone whilst you're traveling, whether that's in between working and taking calls, or maybe even just at the weekend at your own leisure. You know, you want to be able to use it for both. So with that in mind, no one wants to be walking around with a microphone boom sticking out whilst they listen to music. Some other headset brands have managed to do it a little more discreetly, where the boom sits underneath the headband rather than outside of it, but it is still quite obvious that it's there, and it can quite easily just flick back out. So this one keeps it nice and tidy away, so you can use it as well as a piece of equipment as well as for work. Whilst using it during conversation, the tapping it in and out will also mute it and unmute it. So that is quite handy. So if you're on a Teams call, you don't need to go and find yourself and mute yourself. You can just pop it back in. The B876, so this is a newer model, and it's only just about to be available to buy to us. Plus, it's also one of the ones that we are giving away today. So this has got everything that I've just described and more. From a sound quality point of view, it's got the latest technology built inside for the people, you as the user and the people on the other end to get the best sound, but it's also got top of the range noise cancelling. So we're looking at 5 microphones in total on this with dynamic active noise cancelling. So the active noise cancelling part, I'll describe that in a bit more detail on how that works for those of you who aren't aware. So I talked earlier about the noise cancelling microphones on the outside of a headpiece that we've got on the decked model. So that you've also got on here, and that is noise cancelling so that the person on the other end of the line gets a clearer sound. The active noise cancelling is the ability for you as a user to cancel out background noise for you. And on this Yealink B876 headset, we've got 4 different levels of what background noise it cancels out. Now, if you haven't used something like this before, you would assume that naturally, surely you want to cancel all the noise out entirely. However, not everyone likes that. In fact, it is actually quite common to want to let at least some noise come through. Otherwise, it can almost feel a little bit like you're underwater, especially if it's big earpieces and you end up shouting really loud. So most commonly, you'd have it with one of the settings that isn't entirely cut out, although you may often find yourself, or sometimes find yourself, in a situation where actually you do need to block everything out. So for example, I don't know, maybe you're taking a call on somewhere really loud on a construction site, or maybe you popped down to your warehouse to see how they're doing and all the machines are turned on and the call came through. For something like that, you're on the go, you want to be able to just tap it and block it out so that you as a user can hear yourself talk and hear yourself think. So that's the noise cancelling part here. So like I said, it's not just for the listener, but it's for the user as well. Got another couple of battle cards here for you. So we are comparing the B872 to comparable Bluetooth headsets in the market. As we can see, Yealink's is the only one out of these shown here that offers a hidden boom. The one that I described before, where the boom sits under the headpiece, that one's actually EPOS and it's not pictured here today. So in this range, no one else is offering that. 2 of the 4 comparables here have 2 microphones, with the other 2 only having 1. So the noise cancelling isn't generally as good. Only 1 out of the 4 has got busy light on both earpieces. 1 has got it on 1 earpieces, and then the other 2 doesn't have a busy light at all. Talking time is by far superior. So we've got over double the talk time in hours, and it's got the most up-to-date Bluetooth. And as for the wireless charger, this is optional, and it is the only one offering it at this moment in time. We've got a battle card here for the B876. So this is the newer premium model. So 1 out of the 4 comparables has a hidden boom in this one. And that is, let's see. So that's that first one there, the Jabra Evolve 75. So that one actually sits and curls around the earpiece itself. All of them offer active noise cancelling. So they are comparable, but not all of them offer controllable noise cancelling. And out of the ones that do offer controllable noise cancelling, we're looking at only 2 levels, whereas the Yealink BH76 has got 4 different levels to choose from. So that's it on the headsets today. I will now give you a really, really quick preview into the new cordless handsets that are being made as we speak. So here we've got pretty much the current cordless handset portfolio as a whole. So on the base stations at the top, you've got your multi-cell base stations, which are compatible with all of the Yealink cordless handsets. On the single side here below, you can see all sorts of different bundles. Now, currently it is showing bundles with 2 different base stations, but as anyone who's already familiar with the Yealink will know, the W60B is actually being discontinued. So this range of bundles is going to come down a little bit because it will be only with the W70B. And one of the new ones that we're looking at today is this one here, second from the left, the W78P. So the different part in this bundle is the handset itself. The W70B we're already familiar with, we're already selling, but it's the W78 handset that is new. So this is their highest end handset. You've got a good size 2.4-inch color screen. The casing itself is scratch resistant and it's also disinfectant friendly, so it can easily be wiped down without causing any damage. You've got inbuilt Bluetooth on this one to the latest version 5.1, so you can pair Bluetooth headsets to it. And it also comes with a built-in belt clip rather than a clip-on belt clip. And you will be able to buy these, like the others, as a bundle with the base station, but also as a handset on its own. The second new handset coming in is the W57R. So you may already be familiar with their W59R, which is their other ruggedized model. What they've done here is put together a slightly lower end, more cost-effective version. So the 59R is IP69 rated, which not everybody needs. So if budget is important and ruggedized is needed, but it doesn't necessarily need to be top of the range, then that is where the 57R will come in handy. So you've got 1.8-inch color screen, anti-corrosive casing suitable for disinfectant. It's IP54 rated, which is decent. So it's not, sort of waterproof in the sense that you can submerge it, but it is certainly water resistant. It's shock resistant. And you've also on here got the built-in push button alarm, just in the same way that the W59R does. I just had a question from a customer asking if we can send some in-depth information on the DEX best stations and handsets. Yes, that's absolutely fine. I've got your details here, so I'll pop that in an email. And anyone else that needs anything, you can just let me know. So you will be able to use the cordless handsets with this WDD60 dongle, and you can actually then connect the cordless handset to a computer soft phone. So same how you might do with a headset, but actually if you would prefer a handset option and you need something portable without necessarily pairing it and connecting it to a base solution, then this is how you would do it. So this will be useful if you need that cordless option on a particular site. And like I said, you don't necessarily want to put in a single cell base station solution in place. If you've got that one awkward user, then you can simply have a dongle and connect to the system via whatever software solution they've got in place. So it ultimately becomes a more effective way to add in cordless handsets. I mean, if you had many users requiring cordless, then I probably would just recommend putting it in base because you've got that coverage. But in terms of just people being able to needing to speak via their laptop, then we could recommend this. When these handsets and the portable headsets do become available, we will actually be running some promotions on those as well. And our next webinar is going to be all about that and how it works. So if you keep an eye out for our emails, obviously you've got the ones today for this. But if you would like a personal invite or personally would like to know more about that promotion as soon as it's ready, just drop me a message there in that box and I'll come back to you after the webinar. Right, we're almost there. Just quickly, the promotions and incentives that I wanted to go through with you today, just in case you're not aware of what is currently available. So we've decided to bring back some NFR offers. So we're running that again on the WH62 and 63. So for those of you who haven't tried it yet, we have decided to bring it back for you. So you will be able to try those models at a reduced price. So we're looking at 80% off RRP. Now that will be off what Yealink's dictated RRP is, but if you just want your exact trade price, come and speak to the sales team and we'll be able to just give that to you to the absolute penny. Project registration. So historically, this has often been done manually. So you'll come to ProView. We will then speak to China and see what discount we can get. There is now an online portal where you can register the projects yourself. But what I'm showing you here on the slide is essentially what type of additional support you're looking at. So starting with, it's based on quantity, as expected. But then there is also additional discount on it for various reasons. So one, if you've got certain items on the project. So for example, the T54W, a conference phone or a wireless headset. This one's actually pretty good because you only need one of those models on it for the extra discount, and you don't even need to necessarily use it for that particular project. You just need to order it at the same time. So if it's a model that you already sell or something you think you can make use of or maybe sell it to someone else, then it's definitely worth adding to your quote just to get that extra 2% discount. You've then got further discount if it's for the public sector, and additional further discount if the project has got over 30 headsets in it. And that does include the low-end wired ones. So overall, you're looking at a potential of up to 10% discount in total with all these factors considered. And this support is on top of any discount that ProView will give you. So ProView will do our best to support you project-wise and squeeze as much as we can. But this is additional support from Yealink to give you an even better upfront price. What it also does is protect your project. So with any project that we register, you will give us the name of the end user. Now, this is in no way for Yealink to make contact with them, and neither for ProView either, but it identifies the project, and as long as you're the first person there to register it, then you will get the price support. You know, if your customer is shopping around, it will eventually make its way to other distributors. If they try and register it or any other resellers try and register it, then they won't be able to. The last part is the free headsets that we had to give away. So everyone who's attended today will be in with a chance of winning. So I will be contacting you separately after the webinar when we've done the draw to let the winners know. So just to really quickly recap on those free models, that is the BH76, which is the higher end Bluetooth headset with the active noise cancelling. There's the UH38 up for grabs, which is the high-end wired USB headset that has got inbuilt Bluetooth. Plus, we're giving away 2 of the WH62 wireless DECT headsets, which supports the dual connectivity to both your desk phone and your desk phone. Right, that's it for today. Obviously, we've had some questions come through, but I will spend some time and I'll hang out for a little bit longer and answer any other questions that you might have. So I've just been asked if we can share the battle, the slides and also the battle cards as well. I can show you the full slides of the webinar if you'd like that. And for your info, we will actually be sending a recording to everyone that is attended or registered. So if you did need to share the recording, then you'll have a link to it soon. Okay, I've just had a question come through, and this is going back to the wired headset. So the question is, can you use the wired RJ9 headsets with phones other than Yealink? So obviously I mentioned before that they are designed to work with all the Yealink phones, and that is correct. The short answer to your question is yes, they will work with other phones, but the long answer is also at the same time no. There is actually 4 different types of RJ9 connections. So they all look the same, they all fit the same port, but they are wired slightly differently inside. So every data sheet will tell you that it's RJ9, but it won't tell you which RJ9. So I can certainly advise you on all of the products that we sell because we've tested every single one of them and tell you which ones the Yealink ones will fit. But anything out there that we don't sell, then we won't be able to sort of guarantee that compatibility. Just seen another question from that I think I missed, so apologies for that. Do we have any links to knowledge base setup documentations for the decked headset solution relating to the shop communication scenario talking about? The answer to that is yes, that is all coming. I've got some, certainly the initial basic documentation, but they are also building more. So if you hang on, once those are available, they'll be releasing all the relevant documents with that as well. When is the BH6 October? So that one is actually going to be with us. So obviously the free one we've got, and then in terms of stocking, we're looking at, it's imminent now, so it's in sort of the next week or so. So we'll have that quite quickly. Another question. So will the decked handset with USB dongle work with Microsoft Teams only, or also with other third-party soft phones? So well, the decked handset with USB dongle. So I assume you're referring to that new WDD60 dongle to use it with the laptop scenario. No, I wouldn't have thought it will be Microsoft Teams only. I will double check that for you, but from discussions I've had, it is just a general to attach it as you would do with any other headset and any other soft phone. But I will triple check that for you. When is the dongle coming into stock? So that one is due in the next, it's Q3 this year, and Yealink's years are, they run sort of from January to December. So we're looking at fairly soon in the next sort of couple of month or so, I'd say. By the way, in fact, I haven't mentioned, so you may have noticed this link. I've got a link here on this slide. So the Yealink.com one-page SIP UK partner to win. So if you want to register as a Yealink partner, you can. So this is something that you will do direct with Yealink. And then by doing that, we've actually now put together a rebate program with Yealink. So not everyone's going to qualify for it. And if you do qualify, there's different levels, but it's worth registering anyway. Get yourself on there because you never know. You might qualify for rebates, and if you don't, it at least puts you on Yealink's radar. You know, if you're selling their product, they'll be more aware of you. They'll probably want to talk to you if you're happy to do so, and see where they can help. I'm going to hang on for a few more minutes just for any more questions to come through. In the meantime, if you don't have any questions right now, but you do think of some questions later, then our email address is there. So contact@proview.co.uk. That will reach myself and the rest of the sales team here at ProView. Everyone here is super techie, so they'll be able to answer any questions that you've got, and anything that we can't find out, don't know at the time, we will always go to the manufacturer and find out exactly the right answer for you. Right, another question. When is the UH38 available? So that one, we've actually got a few in stock in our warehouse now, with more along the way. So if you're wanting to order that for testing, then please give it a go. It will be on the Process portal. So you can find your pricing there. If you don't have access to Process, which is our online ordering portal, stock viewing portal, price viewing portal, there's everything in there. If you do need access to that, then drop a message to that email on the side and we'll get you set up. So another question. So this is following on the WDD60. I assume if we use the USB dongle with DECT handset, then the operating system will just discover another audio device. That question I personally can't answer right now because I haven't physically plugged it in and tested it myself. I would personally also assume that it would work in that way because otherwise it just becomes a complicated product and why build it. So, but we will be testing that ourselves in-house before we even begin to launch it. So I'm more than happy to keep you on the books, and as we do our testing, I can keep you updated. But once we have done the testing and we're happy to sell it, we will, as usual, be doing a launch. So if you aren't on our mailing list or didn't get any of these emails and would like to get our emails, then again, just send us an email to contact@proview.co.uk. What we normally tend to do is we'll send a launch email to let you know that it's available and that it's in stock. And there'll also be links to blog posts where you'll find data sheets and kind of feature lists and that sort of thing. So everything you kind of need to get going, really. So hang around for another maybe 2 minutes, see what else comes through. Don't forget, if you do have any projects, come and speak to ProView. We'll give you the link that you need to register. And once you've got that link once, that's it. You don't need it again. But it's quite nice how it works. So you as a reseller will go and register the project. And once it's been done at Yealink, you'll select your distributor, which I hope would be ProView. But once you have selected that and submitted it, Yealink then actually come back in touch with ProView and they say, okay, this is what price you can give to them in terms of what our, what discount is per unit, and we will then send you a quote. So just had another question. Is there any comparison available on the Yealink DECT and Gigabit? Yes, there is. I'll send you what I've got on that and then just see how you get on. If it's not quite giving you what you need or you think you need more, then you can just let us know. You're very welcome. Another question, which headsets is the NFR offer running on? So that was at the moment, it's just on the W862 and W863. So that is the wireless DECT headset with the dual connectivity. And those two different models is just whether you want the one with the fixed headband or the convertible headband. Right, I can see we've only got about 20 people left, so most people have gone. So hopefully this has all been of benefit today and you found it all useful. Like I said, if any questions do pop up at any other time, you can contact our sales team there. Feel free to pick up the phone, give us a call. We love to talk to people, happy to give you advice. And if you do need anything else in the future, again, like I said, just give us a call. Slides will be sent, as will the recording. So I wish you all a good day. Thank you for joining me.